all that same stuff that you've got. You have a way of being able to talk to folks and get them to persuade them to do whatever it is you want them to do. That gift of persuasion, God wants to use that. I'm gonna save that for another day. I'm trying to behave myself, right? I'm trying to behave myself, and I haven't given a word here on I Am Encouraged Radio in a little while because we've been listening to a couple of other sermons, and I've still got yet another sermon that I want to share with you. But in this time, I'm just trying to, you know, allow the Lord to speak, to minister, to refresh, right? So I can give you a fresh word. I'm also trying to prepare for 2023. And it's crazy to say that, but I want to be able to continue to give you good word. Not to say that the word of God ever runs out, but I want to make sure I have fresh oil. I want to make sure that I'm not repeating myself, right? But that and I want to make sure that my ears are tuned in to the Lord. And sometimes you've got to, in order to do that, you've got to just take a break, right? Allow the Lord to speak, and you just listen. And that's what I'm trying to do these days. That's what I'm trying to do as I'm taking this slight break, if you will, from preaching all the words of encouragement here on I Am Encouraged Radio. All right, friends. So we are in our man-to-man segment, and I know you can tell because of the music in the background, but so there's a couple of things that we need to kind of deal with and talk about. So we are in our man-to-man segment, and the beauty of this man-to-man segment that we're in this month, right, is it's entitled Feather, Boulder, Glass. Feather, Boulder, Glass. All three of those words, I think, express the fullness or the totality of a man. I think that all three of those words express the individual nature of every man, right? Each word individually expresses the nature of man. A man can be as loving, warm. I mean, listen, if you ever had, or had, if you've ever experienced a bird, right? If I used to have a parakeet. Petey was his name. We also had another parakeet before that named Penelope, but that's a horse of a different color. Either way, we had Petey, and Petey in particular was my bird. And Petey was just as soft as he could be. Like when you would rub his feathers, oh man, them feathers was just so soft, and they kept Petey warm. And when you look at what feathers do, right, even for the birds of this world, they keep them warm. They what I mean, like uh, we even use the analogy of water off a duck's back, right? Feathers help to repel water. There's so much feathers do for birds, right? There's so much that happens with or through the feathers, and as men, we all have that soft part of us. We all have that warm nature in us. We all have that gentle part of us, but not every man expresses it. Not every man shows it. Not every man, and some men just show it individually. Some men just show it to certain folks. And I'm not saying, all right, I'm not saying that you've got to show it to everybody all the time. But what I am saying is that we have that capacity, right? And you ought to be able to share it and show it to somebody. I know going out into the real world, we can't always share that softness. We can't always share that side of us. We've got to be strong. We've got to be the Boulder, right? We've got to be tough. We've got to be rugged. We've got to be, you know what I mean? That's how we've got to be. But ladies, who are listening, and you have a man who's in your life, you have a son who's in your life, you have, and there's so many. Let me just say it this way too. There's so many single ladies who have done a phenomenal job of raising your sons. And some of your sons may still be in the house with you. Some of your sons may be grown and in the house with you, and some of them may be grown and out of the house. But I think that one of the things that's important is that as women, that you allow even your sons, right? You allow your sons the space, the place to just have that vulnerability, to have that softness. Don't always make them feel like a man can't be vulnerable. A man can't cry. A man can't come. Still to this day, I'm 37 years old, right? I'm 37, 6'9", 300 and something odd pounds, right? I don't know. I didn't weigh myself in a while. I just know I'm still in the 300s. All right, so somewhere in the 320s. And so I'm all of that. And my mom, to this day, when I go home, right, she knows one of the things I'm going to come do is sit right at her feet, because she sits in her little recliner. I'm going to come sit right on the floor, right by her, right? And if I feel like I want to hug my mom, I'm going to sit there and hug my mom and hold her for a while and just like I am able to be, her son. I'm able to, just all that. But then also, if I need to be encourager, if I need to be protector, if I need to be whatever, I can be that with my mom. And I want to encourage the ladies who are listening. Allow your husbands, your brothers. I thank God, me and my sisters, not all of my sisters and I have always been on the best of pages. But I thank God that he's healing some of those relationships. He's improving those relationships. They're getting better. And even with my sisters, I can be, their protection, their protector, their brother. And then sometimes, because all of my sisters, well, on my mom's side, are older than me. And so sometimes I'm always their big brother, but then also they allow me to really still be their little brother. You know what I mean? And that's, you've got to give the men, ladies, you've got to give the men in your life the space, a safe space. I was listening to a Facebook, I know, Instagram video. I was watching and listening to an Instagram video earlier, and it was a group of men on a podcast. They were talking about how they're often told to go and get therapy. Women often are saying, hey, you need to go get some help. You need to go get some therapy, this, that, and the other. But then the problem that these brothers have run into is that when they do exactly what the woman told them to do, it's weaponized against them, right? When they go and get the help, then the lady want to talk all kind of foolishness, all kind of craziness. Oh yeah, see, and the doctor told you. See, I told you, you see, that's what's wrong with you now. And see, we can't weaponize. Let them have a place of vulnerability. And if they decide to come home and tell you some of the stuff they talked about in their counseling sessions, then so be it. But don't turn it into a thorn or a weapon. You see, the thing that caused Samson to fall so to deep into sleep that he didn't know his head was being shaved, that he didn't know his hair was being cut, right? Was the fact that he felt like with Delilah, he could be safe because he had shared his secret with her finally. Finally, he had shared his whole truth. And he said, all right, this is a safe place. She done bothered me and nagged me and all. All right, this is my wife, right? I can trust her. And all of a sudden, Samson, the Philistines are upon you. And he didn't realize his strength was gone, right? And they overtook him. Brothers, we've got to make sure, right? And then this is a whole nother subject for a whole different day, but we've got to make sure that we're seeking God for the women that we choose in our lives. Because see, sometimes we've chose the wrong women to be in our lives, right? And when we chose those wrong women, then we thought we were safe. We thought we were good. And it ended up being a place of heat and hatred. And I mean, just because the sex was good, just because she, do that special little thing that you like, you know what I mean, fellas, uh, because of that, we thought, oh, yeah, 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 that's going to be good. We cannot base our decision on women off of sex all the time. That's a topic for a different day. We're going to talk about that in the month of, I think, December, November, December. That's what we'll be dealing with. But right now, here today, we're talking about the feather. And I want to encourage you. All right, we've dealt with Boulder. I've dealt with glass, and now I have extensively dealt with the feather part. And I've got one more week left, which is the 28th. We're going to deal with all three of those and how they all come together in a man. But I want to encourage you. Make sure that you have a safe place, brothers, where you can be both husband and father, where you can be both friend and lover, where you can be, both protector and I mean, again, that's the feather side of things. The feather is protection for the duck. The feather, right? It is a covering for the duck. And as men, that is the totality of who we are. We are coverings. We are protectors. We're all of that. Find you a place, right? And I'm talking to single men now. But as married men, let me also say, make sure that you are that for your home. And then, and if you are not that for your home, listen, there's nothing, I mean, it only takes a couple of steps for you to just rearrange some things and say, I need to turn this around. I've got to be the protector of my home. I've got to be a covering for my wife. I hadn't been a good covering. I haven't been a good protector. And I watched another video. I just so happened to be scrolling a lot these last couple of days, and there was a man who was talking about how he was giving his testimony. And although it was on a funny post, I found it to be very real, and I identified with this man's vulnerability. He was talking about how he's got to stop these things that he's been doing because it's not the will of God. And just to give a slight, he was basically spending his money on prostitutes, but then at the same time, he wasn't even working because he was using his wife's money, and his wife, in fact, was indeed a prostitute. That's how he met her. He married her, and now he's been allowing her to, still do what she does. And then the money she brings in, he takes and spends it on other women. And he said, I can't do that. I can't. That's not how God wants me to lead my household. And although it was a funny post, it was the man was being really serious. It's just someone made it out of a joke, right? And I've got to encourage us, men. It's only by getting right with God that we can do right in our homes. It's only by getting right with God that we can make the necessary changes and do the necessary things in our homes and in our households so that our women can feel protected and loved and know that they are cared for, just as the feather does for the birds of this earth, right? It covers them, it protects them, it all of that. Until the little duckling gets its feathers, the mother protects it, it warms it, you know what I'm saying? And that's what we as men need to be for our homes. We've got to be able to be soft, just like the feather. We've got to be able to be protection, just like the feather. And when I say soft, I mean I'm saying, see, some of us are all hammer, right? We're all, oh no, y'all need to do this, and y'all ain't cleaning up, and y'all ain't, oh, somebody get in here and do the woman do the, yeah, that's us. That's all hammer. But we've got to learn. We've got to learn how to be feather as well as Boulder. All right. We've got to be learn how to be not just a hammer at times. Yeah, the hammer is needed sometimes. You say, hey, look, we're going to, as a family, how did Joshua say it? As for me and my house, right? He was being the hammer right there. We will serve the Lord, right? But then he knew how to back it up and still say, all right, but here's how we're going to do it. I'm going to lead y'all. I'm going to cover y'all. I'm going to, listen, we've got to learn how to be feathers, all right, as men. If you have never been a feather, take notes today. I hope you took notes today. If you didn't, you can always go back and listen to this man-to-man segment. It is available on YouTube on I Am Encouraged TV. Again, that's YouTube. I Am Encouraged TV. All right, so you go to YouTube and type in I Am Encouraged TV. It's live right there, right now. It's also live on Facebook, 93.5 KPPM, your community station. It's live right there, right now. Also, on Encouragement Ministries Facebook page. It's live right there, right now. On my Facebook page, it is live right there. James W. Chavis, right there, right now. And then also on I Am Encouraged Radio Facebook page. It's live right there, right now. On Twitter, I'm going to say it one more time. It's live right there, right now. Yeah, on Twitter. 93.5 KPPM. Yeah, KPPM 93.5 FM. It's live on Twitter. So if you missed any part of this, if you want to go back and refer to it, check out any of those avenues or outlets. It is there. It is live for you. And then even after I end this, it'll still be up, and you'll still be able to go and watch it and see it. All right. All right, friends. That's man to man for today. Feather, boulder, glass, and we dealt today with the feather. I wanted to make sure I've dealt with the glass. I've dealt with the boulder. Next week I'm gonna talk about all three, and I'm gonna show you how it all works together, how you as a man can be all that. All right. Okay. Then next month we're gonna go into spiritual health, men's spiritual health, and we're going to talk about all that next month. So we've got a lot planned, a lot going here during our man-to-man segment. Now, I've got about 2 minutes, 35 seconds. Let me go ahead and jump into our weather. All right, let's jump right on into our weather. Now, I have not been really giving you the local weather as much because I've been so focused on the National Hurricane Center's website and giving you the information there. So let me go ahead real quickly and jump right now, right into